Welcome to the 2022 Boreham FC review. Joined by manager Luke Garrard, where we're going to go through the whole of 2022, which started really the 8th of January at AFC Wimbledon at home. Do you remember that day quite vividly and what it meant for the club?
Oh, hugely. Obviously, off the back of beating St Albans in the second round, we knew who we were facing prior to that. Obviously, the history with myself and the football club being playing for AFC Wimbledon for 5, 6 seasons. Yeah, I remember it very clearly. I remember Marshy's goal. We spoke about the counters and spoke about how. Thing for me is, I don't know if you're gonna have a graphic, but it's the side on head from Marshy when he scored the goal. It was to the AFC Wimbledon fans, and yeah, that was a great day for us going into the fourth round for the first time in the club's history. Yeah, just amazing memories.
Yeah, well, I was saying that as you did go into the fourth round, did that game give you a lot of confidence thinking, we've beaten a side two leagues above. Why can't we go further? Was that a feeling you got from that game?
Yeah, we had real confidence. Obviously, people would suggest that maybe our cup run was kind to us. You look at the Barnet away game, then the Easter game, and the St Albans game. So you've played 3 games, get into the third round, and you're facing non-league opposition. But we was in a good run of form at that time. We were delivering in terms of our league position, and there was a real good buzz around the place. And I genuinely believe we could cause an upset. I watched them, and I watched them in depth, and we felt that we were the better side. And on the day that was to play out, I genuinely think that was one of our best performances under me. I could probably name 4 or 5 par with that, but yeah, no, it was a really good day and thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, and then obviously Bournemouth next in the draw. What was your reaction to that? Were you excited for that game?
Excited, obviously, because you're going against the championship side, and could it have been a little bit more illustrious in terms of a bigger crowd and away to a Premier League side, possibly? But yeah, no, the day was great. I remember it being a Sunday, so it changed all our sort of training schedule. The cameras were there. Every day there was a different media outlet that was coming to do interviews and bits with the boys, and it was just, yeah, it was really nice. We travelled down. I remember the light show. I remember the light show prior to the game, and I remember watching it back. I didn't see it at the time. Kane Smith actually mouths "wow," because obviously that's not something that we're used to in the National League. You don't really go to Eastleigh, Maidenhead, or Yeovil, and it's a light show. But yeah, that was great in terms of the 15, 1600 that travelled down. Was immense. And in the game itself, mate, we had a game plan, and we broke it up into sort of 15-minute segments, and we were doing all right. First 15, we stayed in the game. Next 15, done all right. And then we had a couple of chances. We pressed. Freddie Woodman give us an opportunity with Reece. One just skids across the far post, and then the Rico goal. And I speak about it. There's a lot of things that people wouldn't know about. There's conversations with the medical team, the chairman, myself, prior. Rico was done for. He wasn't going to feature. And he was our skipper at the time. And the chairman stuck it on the medical team, said about getting him an injection. And there was talk of it not being the right time. And in fairness to Steve and the chairman, they got it done just probably 5 days, the right side of the 5 days. And thankfully enough, he goes and plays. And the reason why, and Rico, to his own admission, the reason why he passed it into the goal was because he was fearful of hurting his knee. So I remember them, they all go off in a V into our crowd. And yeah, it was immense. And again, the celebrations afterwards, Marshy doing in the crowd, yeah, again, outstanding. And it probably hasn't even resonated with me now what we achieved, because that night for me is the best night I've ever had as a manager at Bournemouth.
I was going to say, yeah, obviously 2022. I mean, you have to go back. A lot has happened since that game, But I was just going to ask, was that probably your highlight of the year? That game in particular?
Easy. Walking back behind the dugout, hugging my wife, my two kids, the chairman, the staff, the coach journey home. Just because normally we don't have the Northerners on the coach, and I stretched this to Scotty Bowden, to Will Evans, and they were on the coach. And I have to say, I'd be quite content to have driven around the M25 7 times, because the coach journey home was just immense. And he was on cloud 9, and I don't think, if you're not involved in football, I think you can describe the feeling. And it sounds really horrible. Like, I've got married to my wife, I've had 2 beautiful kids, but that moment, for work reasons, I have to say, for work reasons, was the best moment in my life. Obviously, my 2 beautiful kids, married my wife, but I have to say that for me was unbelievable.
Yeah, and then obviously Everton was next. Was that something that I mean, it's hard to not think about it when you're prepping every other game. But was that always in your mind that you're going to be walking out in Goodison Park next to Frank Lampard?
Yeah, again, the lead up was totally foreign to what we've ever really done. The Athletic come in, the magazine, BBC Sport, BBC, Sky Sports News. It was just the spotlight on the club, the players, the staff was just immense. And yeah, we drove up on the Thursday, got settled into the hotel, had a pre-meeting at the hotel, and it was like, yeah, it's just another game. And then you drive up to Goodison Park, and they put you in the side bit because they still were through the COVID side of things, and you walk in right by your supporters, and the size of the club was incredible. And yeah, Z cars. I always said it, for Z cars to come on, it's just known that that's what Everton come out to. And like you said, to stand alongside Frank Lampard at the time was incredible. But a moment, yeah, that will live long in my memory. And it was nice that my family could join me in that moment. There was friends and family in the stand, and yeah, just another incredible moment from 2022.
Another 20 moment, 2022, exactly. Well, after that, I was looking back at some of the league results after that, and the form did drop off. You've mentioned many times that it was something you identified in the summer, but did you learn a lot after that cup run due to the lack of results? Did you learn a lot from that?
Yes, I think as a club we had a moral compass, because we went on a journey as a group, and I'm a strong believer in keeping that group together. I genuinely felt we had enough in the building to sustain. I think we were 3rd at the time. Played Notts County, and obviously went away because we had a break, and then come back. But yeah, our form did dip, and I spoke about it at length. We done a post-mortem afterwards, and sort of went through and dissected everything that we felt that we went wrong on. And this year, I think we are currently in the same run of form, and we need to ensure that it's not a post-mortem, there's a pre-mortem, and that's exactly what we're doing currently. We've obviously added to the group. We are looking to add to the group. We want 3 or 4 additions, because we feel that them additions will kick us right on. But yeah, the frustration of that, people ask me, would you have preferred a cup run or the playoffs? I do think the bread and butter is the league, but the memories of the Bournemouth, AFC Wimbledon, and then Everton. I've got 2 young kids now that just love football, and they were a part of that journey, and that's massive to me as a dad that's been involved in football. So yeah, it was tough. The form was tough. We obviously have improved throughout the start of this season, and we're going through a bit of a run of form at the minute. But the lessons from last year's aiding us to improve, and that's something that we are actively doing.
Yeah, well, then the summer came. Obviously, it was almost a rebuild in terms of all the signings you brought in. Also, the club went to another level with the builds around the ground. Did you sense that in the summer that it was, big changes were happening for the club?
Off the field, massive. That was something that was going on with the chairman for many months, and the work that he does within the club, within the facility, is unbelievable. And Oscars is now up and running. It's an unbelievable hospitality suite, the car park, the builds, everything, all set up for the club is just fantastic. And yeah, that's always been something that's happened that's since I've been there. I've been there 18 years, and every year there's small steps, and something every year is changing, whether that's the North Bank, whether that's the East Bank, East Stand, whether that's the pitch, the changing rooms, the training facility. So yeah, year on year, there's always been improvements, and that's always a given with him as a chairman. That's how he sees his job. Whereas on the football side of things, we're rebuilding our wing backs. Jacob Mendy goes out. Kane Smith initially goes out the building to Stevenage, and then you got Jacob Mendy going out the building to Wrexham late on. Changes in our midfield. You look at our midfield now. Not one of them, obviously, barring Reece, was involved last year. Our forward unit. So yeah, huge rebuild. But something that we were appreciative of, and something that we knew that needed to happen. We wanted to get our average age down, and that's something that we achieved. And we started all right. I have to say, we started all right.
Yeah, well, as you said, you did start okay. I mean, a lot of new players in probably takes time and also a younger squad this year. Was that something you addressed?
I think our average age was something like 34 or something, 32.4, sorry. And we wanted to get it below 28, just because I think the league is unforgiving and it's relentless. And you're looking at the game nowadays, and it's all about stats and running stats and how far you can run. And yeah, we'll be playing against Accrington Stanley, that his motto is "we'll outrun the opposition." So that is what it is, and that's something that we wanted to achieve. And I think we did do that with our recruitment, but I think we started well. It's enabled us to still be in the hunt. Yeah. It's crazy that obviously we are in a poor run of form, and I'm at the helm. It's totally my responsibility. I'm not shirking any of that. I know full well that things need to improve, but the start has allowed for us to still be 2 points off the playoffs. It's crazy that we're still 2 points off the playoffs. And yeah, it was a good start, and it's a shame that we couldn't build on it. But like I said, we're in a process at the minute where we are looking to recruit and to get back to that start. If we can get a good run of form into the new year, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you saw the video we put out yesterday. It was 2022, the year of the FA Cup, and it started again this season. You've mentioned many times there's almost now an expectation, which is ridiculous to say when you're playing these teams at leagues or 2 leagues higher than yourself. But Bristol Rovers came. What was your thoughts before that game?
They were an excellent side, aggressive, very much mirrored their manager. Hadn't lost, I think, in 11 games at home. Had unbelievable ability across the board. We played AFC Wimbledon, and I genuinely felt that we were a better side. And that's not being disrespectful to AFC Wimbledon. They had the youngest team in the EFL at the time, whereas the personnel that Bristol Rovers possessed was fantastic. Went and watched them against Colchester in the, I think it was the EFL Trophy. He changed it. And I felt that if he was to go along them lines, that would give us a better opportunity of winning a game of football. Obviously, the team sheet lands, and he's made several changes. And it just gives you a little bit more belief. And I spoke about having the confidence to go and deliver on a game plan, and the boys were immense, were tremendous in doing that. And we forced them into 4 changes at the half-time mark. And I think that's credit to the team, credit to the squad. And to go and achieve what we achieved from a set piece, you watched it, how much I doubled down on it, how aggressive I was. It's probably in your work for your UCFB stuff. And we scored from one, and then we scored from a second set piece from the second phase. And that's something that we addressed. And like I said, the boys were tremendous in that. And to go and beat a side that are in League One, and I think I saw a stat the other day, they're second or third in a calendar year of a points return. And that's obviously from last year getting promoted from League Two, and then obviously this year in League One. But that's no mean feat going to Bristol Rovers and beating them. But again, to achieve that and to get into the 3rd round, 3 years in a bounce, I think we're the first club to do it in 35 years. Full credit to the staff and players, because that's something that, for me, there's an expectation now in the FA Cup, and that needs to be really looked at, because what we've achieved in the last 3 years alone in that is amazing. I heard a stat that Accrington Stanley have only been to the third round 5 times in their whole history. So we've been in it 3 times in the last 3 years. So there has to be a little bit of credit given to the staff and players for sure.
Yeah. So closing off 2022 and looking into 2023, have you, obviously got a big game against Barnet coming up tomorrow, and then also Accrington Stanley. Are these sort of games that you look ahead and you also set targets for the year?
So I never set targets for the year. We have our aims. Myself, the chairman, we discuss where we see things and where we want to be. Failed in terms of the trophy. Wanted to go and be successful in that. Currently, obviously, doing above and beyond in the FA Cup. And at the minute in the league, we're falling short. But we've got 24 games left in the league. And that starts with a big game against Barnet on, 2nd of Jan. And the manner in which that game finished in terms of the late winner for them with the Haviland, it's bitter, because I felt we'd done enough to gain a point against the side that had not lost in 6 or 7 or whatever it was. So we need to ensure that we're right on it tomorrow, starting 2023 year with a positive result. And I speak about it all the time. We've got to stick together. Have to, all of us. We're in a little bit of a rut that, for me, I've always been taught, and that's with my dad and the chairman. If you're backed into a corner, plant your feet, come out swinging. And that's exactly what we need to do. I believe in this group, fully believe in this group. Yes, we are adding to this group to complement what we already have in the building, but I fully believe in this group. And like I said, let's hope we can get a good crowd behind us, excuse me, tomorrow to push us through for 3 big points, because that's all that counts tomorrow.